Hi, I'm Stephane Reinhardt, Director of the Education Program for the Clear Institute. And in this podcast, you will learn why it's important to integrate clear aligners in your practice, not tomorrow, but now.
OrthoMarketing.com, 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.
Well, hello, everybody out there in podcast land. This is Dean Steinman from Ortho Marketing. And guess what? We are back with another podcast for you. So hope everybody is enjoying their springtime. It is now April 2024, and flowers are blooming, people are smiling, and everybody's happy. And we gotta love being in the smile business. So talking about smile and the smile business, we have a really special guest with us today, Dr. Stephane Reinhardt. And, you know, Dr. Stephane is a dentist, runs the Clear Aligner Institute, and is a great guy, very educated. And we're here to talk a little bit about aligners for your practice and, you know, talk about the history and how it works and why it's important to have aligners in your practice. So before I get too more into this, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because, you know, guys like to talk a lot. I'm going to make a nice intro. So, Stephane, how are you today?
I'm good. Do I have to do the same thing as you? Like, how are you?
I love it, man.
I do this too, you know?
Well, that's what happens when you're on like your third cup of coffee in the morning. So welcome, man. Thanks so much for joining.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and honor to be here.
Great. So let's back up. Tell us a little bit about Dr. Stephane. What's your story?
My story, I'm a general dentist. I've been in practice for over 3 decades now, and I say it like this: it seems less than saying 32 years. But and I got, you know, I was interested in orthodontics and in integrating orthodontics in my practice in 1999 because my son was 3 years old at the time, had a big class 3 problem, and I'm telling you, Dean, I didn't know what to do at all. I had no idea, no clue. And a lot of times this is how it is for a general dentist. You know, we finish university, we know a little bit about everything, but almost nothing about orthodontics. I mean, that was the reality 30 years ago, but I think from what I hear, it's still the reality now. And for me, that makes no sense. So I wanted to integrate. I wanted to treat my own son. That was the you know, this is where it started. So I was lucky enough to find people who would, you know, share their knowledge and educate me. And I just got interested in orthodontics and just did more and more and more. In 2004, I integrated the clear aligners in my practice. I mean, I was like one of the early adopters, especially here in Quebec, in province of Quebec in Canada. We're always a little bit behind. And I just believed in that thing. For me, it was, you know, when I saw this, I remember the first time I saw a ClinCheck. For me, it was just, okay, this is the thing. And I think you're a little bit like that too. You're an early adopter of technology and, you know, for me, I said it was not only the future of orthodontics. For me, it was the future of dentistry that I was just seeing there. So I believed it. And since I had already, you know, 5 years of doing orthodontics with brackets, wires, and everything, I told myself, you know what, just let's try this thing, but with my patients and all the informed consent all the time. I was always saying, you know, we're gonna start with these things, these plastic things, these aligners. We'll go as far as we can, but we probably will need brackets and wires to finish. And finally, I was, you know, selecting the cases and everything, but I saw that I was able to finish my cases with the aligners and just, you know, did more and more and still believed in the thing. And of course, it evolved, it improved with time. Now we're treating patients that I never thought would be possible, 20 years ago. But since I did more and more, I came to a point where I was the only one doing orthodontics in the practice. And I finished with a practice dedicated to orthodontics. The only thing I'm doing. So now I'm only using clear aligners. I don't use brackets and wires anymore. So that's kind of my story. And in 2015, I won the Invisalign Summit Shootout, and I was the first Canadian to win. Said, yeah. And I lecture. When I lecture, I say that that's usually where people clap. But the thing is, my goal was to go into education. I wanted to to share the knowledge, experience, and everything. And I think as you become an older dentist, let's not say older, let's say more experienced.
More experience, right? It's better, right?
I just wanted to share, and something I like to be on stage. I like to be in front of people. I like to talk. I mean, obviously, you can say it already now that I like to talk, and people have to stop me. So I've been enjoying the ride a lot, and then they just decided to create this the Clear Institute to again help dentists, mostly general dentists, pediatric dentists, on how to integrate and understand clear aligners, how it works, because how it is. We hear a lot of things like, just trust the software, trust everything. You don't have to think, close your eyes, accept. And this is not how it is. It's still orthodontics. We're still, and the clear aligners are the tools we're using. I mean, these things do not move teeth. They don't, like brackets and wires don't move teeth. I mean, just it force will move teeth. So we have to understand the tools. I mean, if you give me a hammer and you give me a saw, I will do things. I mean, it's going to be terrible what I'm doing because I'm not good with that. But you will give the same tools to somebody who knows how to use them. They can build incredible things. So it's not, if it doesn't work, it's not because of the hammer. It's because of me. I'm not good with a hammer. So it's the same thing. I hear a lot of times dentists blaming the plastic. This thing doesn't work. It's not because it doesn't work. We know it works. Look at scientific literature. Look at it works. You just don't know how to use it.
This podcast is sponsored by orthomarketing.com. Hey, you an orthodontist or dentist looking to give your practice the competitive edge it deserves? Well, look no further than Ortho Marketing. Ortho Marketing is the dentist and orthodontist choice for digital marketing. At Ortho Marketing, we specialize in helping orthodontists and dentists just like you attract more new patients. Our team of experts knows the ins and outs of the dental and orthodontic industry, and we're here to help your practice shine. We're going to supercharge your online presence. We're going to optimize your website. We're going to harness the power of social media to connect you with the patients that you want. Say goodbye to empty chairs and say hello to a thriving practice. Choose Ortho Marketing today and watch your patient list grow. Visit orthomarketing.com and learn more and take the first steps towards your practice success. Ortho Marketing. It's not just our name, it's what we do. Interesting. So, I've been doing this for a long time as well. And, when I first started working in this field and promoting, orthodontics for practices, a lot of people were not all in on aligners and how it has become a game changer to make practices. And people have to look at, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. And a lot of practices, well, the lab fees are so expensive, so I don't want to do it. It costs me blah, blah, blah. So how do you kind of get them to see the forest through the trees and realize that, it's about your chair time. It's about being efficient. It's about adapting the technology and using virtual technologies. And people, once you get them in, back in the old days, how, you would see a patient every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks. Now it could be every 6 months or even less. So how have you seen the evolution of aligners over the last 15 years?
How much time do we have? It's just, for me, that's been so interesting to see. I feel privileged to be in that period of time and being able to see what's been happening in dentistry for the last, like you say, 15 years, what's coming now with artificial intelligence. I mean, it's the best time to be a dentist. I mean, smile has never been as important as it is right now, thanks to Zoom, to COVID, it brought that. People saw their smile. I see people who would go back 20, 30 years would not be interested in things like that, but now they are. So when you look at aligners, like I told you, I was an early adopter. I believed in this thing, but when I still hear dentists and orthodontists today saying these things don't work. You cannot move. It's only for simple cases. You cannot move roots with this. I mean, I just came back from Spain. I was at the European Aligner Society meeting. I mean, this thing is, orthodontists almost only. I mean, there were maybe 5% of general dentists. All the speakers on stage are orthodontists. It's the people with, when you look at scientific literature, you look at the names, those are the people on stage. And you hear, and this year, the topic was mostly surgical cases combined, treated with clear aligners. So combining orthodontic surgery and clear aligners, periodontal problems, a patient with clear aligners and everything. And so I was there and said, okay, I'm not crazy. So what I'm thinking, everything can be done with this. So those who just are looking at the parade out there and just, and some are just even pretending there's no parade out there, but clear aligner, we're still not, it still not dominates the markets. It's not the if you look at the percentage, what it represents, that's not what the majority of people use. But if you're missing the boat, you're missing big, especially as a general dentist. This is the best vector for new patients.
It is, and you're only, and they're missing the boat when it comes to offering the full, smile transformation. A general dentist will do, the whitening, they'll do the bleaching, they'll do the cosmetic, but they don't do the aligning, and they're missing that big part of it there. And by implementing, the whole entire smile makeover, it's a no-brainer. Why would you not be able to do it, and be able to offer it? So you're right. It's been a game changer. And a lot of our clients who understand the value in adapting are seeing tremendous results for the bottom line, and being able to offer the whole service for their clients. How do you respond to the fact that some people say, well, they hear I'm not a candidate for aligners? Is that true for you? Or do you think that every potential orthodontic patient can be treated with aligners?
I think we have to be careful in how we approach this question, because the difference I see with aligners is you need more cooperation from your patients. And like I like to say, when you look at occlusion, of course, we always talk about class 1, class 2, class 3, and that this is from, those are classification. This is for our way of talking. If I talk to another dentist and orthodontist, I say class 2, div 2, you already have an image in your head. But for patients, when we talk to patients, there's stable occlusions and there's unstable occlusions. I have patients who are in class 2 are perfectly stable. I have patients in class 1 who are unstable. So there's stable occlusion and unstable occlusion. I think there's the same thing with patients. You have stable patients and you have unstable patients. And the one point of the consultation, when we're doing consultation, is to not only look at the teeth and the occlusion and everything, but you're going to be married to that patient. Because if you're doing an orthodontic treatment, and as a general dentist, you're going to have these patients in your practice for the rest of your life, hopefully. So it's not a root canal where you do one appointment and it's done. You are embarking in 6 months, a year and a half, 2-year treatment with your patient. If you're not in relation with the patient and you need cooperation, maybe it's an easy or predictable case when you only look at the teeth and how you will move the teeth. But if the patient is not wearing the aligners, if they're not compliant, and then it becomes a difficult case. And who's going to be responsible if it doesn't work?
Let's talk about that compliant. How do you get, or do you suggest to get patients compliant? Because I went through Invisalign, and at the beginning I was all gung ho for it, and eventually I did get a little lazy, and blah blah blah. And it took me a little bit longer than I was hoping for my treatment because I wasn't compliant. So how do you recommend to, is there any tricks that you could, put out there that could get doctors to say, this is how to become compliant?
For me, and if you look at psychological studies and literature and everything, they say if you want patients to be compliant, they have to like you. That's the first thing. You have to be in relation with them. They have to like you. If you like someone, you want to please them. You want, I mean, because I hear it a lot of times with teenagers. People say, I don't treat teenagers, they're not compliant. I'm sorry. They're certainly not worse than adults. And the best, the most compliant patients are young kids. I mean, and they've been wearing incredible things. Look back. I mean, they were wearing, twin blocks, bionators, things like that are much harder to wear than aligners. So the goal, because earlier we're saying now we can see people, our patients after 6 months, but I think one of the goal of bringing them back in the office periodically is to keep that motivation, because once you did your treatment planning, once you did everything is planned and it's good and it's going well, the role of the team and your role as a treating doctor is to motivate the patient, to keep that motivation. So we're always bringing back the initial pictures. We're always bringing back the initial clean check, showing them where they started from. Remember, because people forget. This is something I saw with time. People forget. You have to repeat all the time. So getting them to come back. I see my patient usually every 10 to 12 weeks. Now, of course, I could use something, where they take their pictures or virtual thing at home. But for me, having them coming back to the office has a meaning, and this is to show them first that it's important and keep that motivation. Where are you? And part of what we're doing is that we become coaches for our patients.
Okay, interesting. So let's take one step out now. So obviously most, dental professionals, orthodontists, dentists know of aligners. They know that they need to bring them into the practice, but just don't know which direction to go. So what would you suggest them to do as far as doing the research, how to determine it? Sure, Invisalign is the behemoth and it's been doing this forever, and that's the main brand. But there are so many other great aligner companies out there, OrthoFX, and you've got Spark and Candid and others out there, and, Orthosop. So what would be the 2 or 3 things that a practice should look at in order to find the right aligner partner or program to use? Is it strictly bottom line price? Is it results? Is it fast? Like what? Because there's so many different components there. And most of the companies have really good technologies. So what would you suggest would be 2 deciding factors for somebody to look at when they're about to bring in or want to bring in aligners to the practice?
Well, like you said, there's a lot of different companies. I've been using Invisalign for 20 years, but I'm not related with Invisalign. I have no contract. I'm not speaking for Invisalign, for Align, for any company, in fact. And this is, I like to have this liberty of saying whatever I want. And I think that, that when I look at Align, like you said, they were the first one. And the only thing about them is that it's the only thing they're doing. They're doing aligners and scanners. So, of course, they're developing, and I see how they're developing now for general dentists, with bringing things like smart architects. And it's, you see they're more focused now on a lot more than they were on general dentists. But I believe, and it was the same thing when I learned orthodontics, I was lucky enough to come across people who didn't care what type of brackets and wires I was using. They just wanted me to understand. I did the courses with Tom Mulligan, who was just mechanics guy. He was talking about mechanics. He didn't even care. He always said, take the cheapest thing. And I think that when you understand mechanics, when you understand the principles, you can probably make any system out there work for you. You have to understand how it works. Now, you were talking about the price, how much it costs, how much, and I think a lot of times dentists, this is where they stop. But when you look at numbers, when you look at practices, and I'm sure you know more than me, what's the most profitable thing you can do in a practice, in a general practice? A lot of times it's clear aligners, orthodontics. And they're all, I'm sorry, they're all about, I'm doing implants and I'm doing surgery and I'm doing complete rehab. Yeah, look at the bottom line. Look at the bottom line. You will do clear aligners. And so for me, it's just, I work with dentists who use Spark, ClearCorrect, all different types of brands. And I think you have to look at the software, because mostly you're going to work with the software Are you comfortable with the software? Are you and look at the sometimes I've seen, that, it's cheaper, but you wait a month before you receive your aligners. So the process is so long that you're losing a lot of time. So I think all these things are important, but get educated. You don't rely on the software to decide for you. You want to be a dentist. You like to have these two letters in front of your name, DR. You have to, doctor. You want to be a doctor. You have to work. You have to learn. You have to take some time to learn. There's a learning curve for sure. But once you go through that, once you understand what you're doing, now you can face anything and you can make anything work. This is how I see it.
What's your thoughts on do it yourself and having a 3D printer in the office and taking them out of the equation? Do you believe they should just focus on what you do best, or do you believe that practices, if they have the ability to start manufacturing on their own?
I think that's probably where we're going. From what I've seen now, I think could be maybe more in the reality of an orthodontist, somebody who's dedicated for that, because it's still a long process. It's still a long process. I don't think in the reality of a general practice, it would really be something that you can do. But certainly, the way I see the future, what I see, Dean, is that you have your scanner, and your patient will bite into something. It's going to scan the whole mouth. You're going to have your printer. You're going to print the next 10, 12 aligners, always starting from that point. And this is, I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to be old enough to see it come. But I think that's where we're going. When I was in Spain, we were, there's a company there. So they're working on aligners, printed aligners that are activated by body heat, or that you can wear for 3 weeks. So I think this is, where we're going more and more. We're going to see that, and the development of artificial intelligence also. I have that question. I don't know if you have that question also from dentists. Will artificial intelligence will it replace dentists? And I don't think it's going to replace dentists.
Who knows? But exactly,
it's going to replace dentists who don't use artificial intelligence.
Exactly, right. It makes it only better. You have to adapt. And I've said that many, many times: adapt or die. And if you're not adapting to AI, if you're not implementing change, you will be left behind. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. So I'm going to ask you to take off those cool glasses and put your future glasses on. So now I want you to take a look, and what do you see is the future of aligners in 2 years from now?
2 years from now, I see that more and more, of course, I talk for myself, but I see that more and more general dentists will integrate clear aligners in their practice. I see that artificial intelligence will surely help in developing treatment planning. But for me, it's just we're now starting to stop separating orthodontics from everything else we're doing, and just integrate the orthodontics and tooth movement into the comprehensive dentistry. I see that it's gonna make us better dentists, doing better dentistry, more minimally invasive dentistry, being more conservative, and of course, I think it's just gonna get easier and easier, because with artificial intelligence, the software is learning also. I think we're coming to a point where it's going to be easier to understand. My dream is that when we're looking at I always say ClinCheck, but any virtual setup, it's counterintuitive, because we think we're looking at teeth that are moving, which is not the fact. We're looking at a force system. But I see that at one point we're going to really see how the teeth will move.
Right. All right, so you're talking about before education and learning. So let's talk a little bit about the Clear Institute. Tell me a little bit about what this is and why people need to know about it.
Okay. The idea of the Clear Institute came because for 2 years I was lecturing for Align, giving the certification course and at the time the intermediate course. And there was a 1-day course or 2-day course, I think, at the time. And dentists were coming, general dentists. And they were leaving, asking, okay, I'm interested. This seems good, but what's next? and there was nothing next. I mean, there was nothing planned next. So the courses they were giving to general dentists was the same thing they were giving to orthodontists, who obviously already have the knowledge. But general dentists came to there that had no knowledge, and looking at the software, they left more confused than when they came. Maybe you're going to say, maybe it's because of me. Okay, I could be one. But so I told myself, we have to build a program like somebody would do, want to do implants. We have to build a program where we're going to teach them about orthodontics, about how to make a good diagnostic, about how to select cases, what makes a case predictable or more difficult, and the basic mechanics, all these things. You need to know that because, again, it's orthodontics. So when we started, we were giving only live courses and doing it like a mastership program over a year. But then COVID hit and I transferred everything online. So now we have the online platform with more than 70 hours of online content. So for anyone, if somebody who's starting, if somebody who's already a confident provider and user of clear aligners, they will find things there to really help understanding, integrating aligners in their practice. My goal, my mission, my vision is that I want at one point general dentists and their team to be able to talk about clear aligners like they talk about any restoration or any. It has to be integrated in the practice and not be something they're not comfortable with, and just remove all the barriers that they can have, that it's orthodontics, maybe I cannot do that, or how do I select my cases, and how do I get this confidence that I can treat the patient. And what I say all the time, you don't have to treat all the patients. And I think everybody will gain from that. Orthodontists will gain from that, because if they are better at diagnostic, they will not want to treat probably the class 2, the class 3 patient, but they will see more things and they will refer more to orthodontists, maybe keep the things that are fun for them, and maybe do what's the difference in the bottom line if you can do 20, 25, 30, 40 cases in a year that are class 1 patient, no problems, like it's just moving the teeth a little bit before you do the restorations, before just uprighting teeth because you want to put an implant, whatever. You can do these things.
Sure. Smart. This is great information here. So guys, if you're looking for more, to learn more, if you want to take your practice to the next level and implement aligners, you really should take a look at the Clear Institute. It's I did some research, and and Dr. Stephane, him and I have been talking for a while here, and it's a great program. You get the credits, you learn from the best, and it's something that you really should be looking at. Aligners are a game changer for practice. And imagine, as you said, adding in 20, 30, 40 cases a year, that's some good money coming in, plain and simple. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars that why not?
and you can still do your things and on your chair. I mean, everything can be done in the hygiene chair. So I mean, look at how much you can. It's profitable. We know it works. We know it's fun. We know it's profitable, and it's something you can do for a long time. And as an experienced dentist, I can tell you, it's fun. No back problems. No, most of the work you're going to do on the computer. I don't put my attachments. I do the IPR. That's it. And I'm there when there's trouble. So the other thing that I just want to say, for the Clear Institute, we're an AGD PACE approved provider also. So we've been for 9 years now. So.
One final quick question, the most important question. So I just came across, while we're talking here, I just saw a text that an asteroid is hitting Earth in 5 hours from now. So you have to go hurry up and set up your last meal. What are you eating?
My mother's Italian.
Okay.
So it's their the family recipe, the pasta, we call the macaroni.
Okay.
But the problem I have, Dean, is that this is something that usually cooks a whole day. So 5 hours, well, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Wait. It just said that it's 24 hours. Sorry, my mistake. I got that.
That's something I could eat 3 times a day. I mean, this is, yeah.
They keep you a great figure. So, all right. So it's mama's sauce and homemade pasta, huh? Okay.
Exactly.
Is there anything putting in it, or just plain sauce and pasta? Are you putting in meat?
The meat is cooked inside the sauce, and this is what gives the flavor to the sauce and everything. So we have the the polpette, the barachol, everything, you know.
Oh, great. Love it. That was great. All right. Awesome. So if somebody wants to get more information or learn more about the clearance, what's the best way for them to do so, or to speak to you, or just to get some insight?
Yeah, the easiest way, just go and Google the Clear Institute, and you will have everything there. You go directly on the website. You can contact us. You can info@theclearinstitute.com, but go on the website. Everything is there. Yeah, we have a blog. And go also on the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel, almost 5,000 subscribers now, and it's all videos on again, clear aligners and orthodontics and everything. You see how we do things and give you an idea of how the courses are.
Awesome. Guys, check it out. Real important to do so. You really need to learn and adapt, as you said, and this is going to make a difference in your bottom line, your practice, and making people smile. Remember, we're in the smile business, so if you can make somebody smile fully, embrace it. So, Stephane, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody in podcast land. Once again, thank you for being a loyal member, for listening to us, for telling your friends, for love the comments. And again, if you have any questions or you want to learn some more, please reach out to us. We always want to just hear back from everybody out there. So thanks so much, everybody. Be safe, be happy, happy smiles.
Thank you very much.
OrthoMarketing.com, 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.